Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Our Future 101. Here, I've got Amanda with me today, and
Hello,
check out our
everyone.
new
Yeah, look
stuff.
at this. Our new setup.
Yeah, we got a new setup. We got
Yeah.
brand new audio equipment, four mics, four headsets. We've
Yeah.
got an audio mixer over here. You might be able to see that on the feed. And that's all due to a donation from a gentleman named Bill
hmm
from Massachusetts, USA.
Yeah, he just reached out to us. I guess he likes what we're doing and felt like he wanted to help out in some way as anyone could notice. We didn't have all the proper equipment before, but
Yeah, he was
yeah.
actually watching one of those videos that got the most views. It
hmm
was something, I think it was called
Governments are to blame for.
Governments blame their own
Oh yeah,
citizens
yeah.
for Governments blame their citizens for their own failures, and that was the video that kind of blew up a little bit.
Yeah.
So he got to see that one, and he immediately reached out to us saying, "I want to donate. I want to help you guys out. What do you need?" And then this is how we went through with the donation: is that we just gave him a bit of a list of the things that we needed, and he said, "I'm gonna get it all for you."
Yeah, it's really awesome. We're really grateful because now, I mean, the quality of everything is just
So much
so
better.
much better, really. Um,
It's a lot crispier, and now our viewers could get the full real podcast.
Experience.
Yeah,
Yes.
our future 101 experience.
Yes. Yeah, it's been awesome.
So thank you so much, Bill. We really appreciate it,
hmm
and we're gonna do our best with the equipment that we got.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the social media age that we're in? I don't have much social media at all, except
hmm
for Reddit. I like reading stuff.
Of all things, Reddit,
Of all
really
things, I only got Reddit. I like reading like Louder with Crowder, and Joe Rogan stuff,
interesting.
and UFC things.
Oh,
They give
okay.
you like some news on it, so that's my news.
Really, Reddit.
Yeah.
Okay. All
But
right.
other than that, I have nothing else. So tell me about your experience with social media and what you think about it.
I think social media is very toxic. I just, I think that in this social media age, it's made a lot of issues that we have even more prominent in society. The obvious ones being, seeing everyone's lives perfectly on the internet, obviously brings up feelings of insecurity and,
Hmm.
not thinking that you're good enough or that your life is as good as anyone else's. Um, so, which is obviously just not healthy for anyone to be seeing. Um, like to go on social media and to see um just the positives in everybody's life is, and then like obviously nobody's life is as perfect as it is on the internet, but you have this like idea that everyone's life is so perfect and yours isn't, and it can be really depressing if you spend too much time on it.
Hmm.
um I so that's one of the more obvious reasons, but I think another reason that kind of gets ignored is the fact that certain ideas are amplified um by people who have lots of followers for whatever it is they do. They could be young kids, teenagers, um that just went viral, and now they have this huge platform where whatever they say, millions of people are listening to them and taking them seriously. uh I mean, and I think that that's dangerous. That's dangerous because you can really influence a lot of
Hmm.
people,
Yeah, like,
in such a small amount of time.
hmm,
It's scary.
yeah, with the stuff that was going on, when first the mandates were implemented,
Mhm.
um, I didn't have, I already deleted like all of my social media at that
Mhm.
point. But I did see like a lot of people sharing it around, and they were talking about it. That oh, I got vaccinated, and it had like these like
Oh,
check marks or
Instagram.
something.
Yeah, so Instagram has these like stickers that you can put on your story, and it's like, I got vaccinated or whatever.
Hmm.
Um,
And that was like a cool thing to do, right?
yeah, it's trendy. That's the other thing. It's like everybody's trying so hard to be trendy,
Hmm.
and keep up with the latest trends. And honestly, getting vaccinated is one of them, or just telling people that you are. It's like a trendy thing to do. And these trends, again, are dangerous. Because anything can go viral just so quickly, and millions of people can see
Hmm.
like one certain thing, and even if 90% of the people ignore what they saw and it doesn't really affect them, there's probably still thousands upon thousands, if not millions, of people that are seeing this and are taking what they're seeing seriously.
Hmm.
I'm just going to bring up an example. Everyone knows Olivia Rodrigo, I'm assuming. uh 6 months ago, I don't know how long ago it was, um she posted a photo at the White House with now President Joe Biden. um and she basically posted a photo and said, "Hey everyone, I had a great conversation with Joe Biden today about why everyone should get vaccinated."
No way.
So there's this 18-year-old pop star who's now telling her, I don't know how many followers she has on social media, but millions.
Hmm.
Um, and a large percentage of those followers are definitely kids
Yeah.
and young adults and teenagers. Um, and it's like, why does she get to tell us what, like, it's a medical decision and she is able to freely, like, tell us what we should be doing,
Hmm.
as an 18-year-old pop star? And then when Joe Rogan has Dr. Robert Malone on his podcast, he gets canceled, even though he's a doctor and has knowledge of that subject. But a pop star who has no knowledge of the subject and just had some conversation with Joe Biden that was purely for publicity, she can go and speak freely about that. But actual doctors can't.
Hmm.
So those voices are amplified.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's
And
what we talked about before.
yeah.
In a previous podcast, I mentioned the same stuff. It was like the majority of the things that are trendy is amplified, and like people who are not supposed to be speaking about those things or
Mm-hmm.
should not have an opinion about it
Yep.
because they're not
Well,
experts.
I
And
believe in freedom of speech. You can say what you want, but the danger of social media is that you have people
mhm,
that are uneducated in those subjects speaking on them, and not even speaking on them, but advising people what to do. That's the scary part, because when you have 12-year-olds like watching Olivia Rodrigo or whatever other TikToker or movie star or singer go on and say you should get vaccinated, or you should do this, or you should do that. Hey guys, this is the new cool thing now. You should do it. Most likely they're going to be influenced by that. And so many, like, nowadays, like, kids are just being, there's so much going on around them,
mhm.
and it's just influencing the way that they the decisions that they make. It's scary. It really
It's
is.
scary, but it's like I think we shouldn't cross the line of like saying that they shouldn't have a voice and telling people
No,
what to
it
do,
just
because we do the same thing. We do tell people, what we think they should do, or what's our opinion that they should do this, like get involved, for example. Like,
mhm.
right, we're telling people to do
It's
stuff.
not telling someone to make a
It's not the
medical
same. Yeah,
decision, but
obviously,
yeah,
it's not the same. But I mean, like, I do believe in the freedom of speech,
yeah, me too.
and I believe everybody should have a voice, but I just think that opinions should not be swayed one way or another. Just like they tried to censor Joe Rogan,
Hmm.
but Olivia Rodrigo would get promoted and amplified by
That's what I'm
all these
saying.
social media platforms. And,
Hmm.
just the fact that Instagram and Twitter and whatever else, they have those stickers for like vaccinated,
Yeah.
that's already going to amplify people to try to get that sticker
Hmm.
because it's cool, right? And that's the thing that social media and these platforms should watch out for, because they're, I mean, of course they're private companies, but like I would think that they should be held responsible for keeping, since they have so much influence on society, they should be responsible for keeping things on a level playing field rather than trying to promote something and discourage something else.
100%. Like, there's nothing we can do about the fact that these young like famous people, singers, I don't know, TikTokers, whatever. There's nothing we can do about the fact that they have a large following. That's, yeah, okay, go ahead.
They've earned
like,
it. Yeah.
Great. But it's very hypocritical that someone like that can, like, how is that not spreading misinformation, but, you know, doctors saying their own thing that may go against the narrative? How that's misinformation, but what she's saying isn't, even though she's not educated on the subject. And it's just hypocritical. If we're going to have free speech, we got to have free speech, regardless of who's saying it. And it's up to the individual to decide what they're going to believe in and what they're not going to believe in. You can't censor one thing and not another. If you're going to censor Dr. Malone for speaking up about whatever his opinions and his experiences were, then you got to go and do the same for the other side. It can't pick and choose. And that's what these social media platforms are doing. And there's nothing we can do about it because they have so much influence. Everybody uses Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't even know what else is there. TikTok, yeah, obviously.
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Yeah. Everybody uses them, and they can just go ahead and do whatever they want. And that's the dangerous part, because then, you know, you have certain things censored and certain things amplified. And that creates biases. And it's just, I mean, for people who who are easily swayed,
I just think it would be nice for the government to have some sort of regulation on what the social media could censor and what they couldn't censor.
They're putting in more. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're trying to pass even more laws for more censorship.
Yeah. But it's like, the thing is, it would be nice if they could monitor those things, because, like, you know, there is government legislature in terms of workers' code or like fire safety, that kind of stuff, right? You know, you cannot work in a hazardous environment. Even though you're a private company, you can't just have hazardous place, right? You still have to pass the inspection. Well, I think social media platforms should be held to the same standard, that, you know, whatever you are promoting here, that cannot happen, because, you know, that may influence somebody's decision, their medical decision. And that's something that's sacred. We have to keep it sacred because it's part of our laws, right? The right to privacy.
Like, how can a post that's on Instagram that says reasons, I've seen people post this, okay, and how is this not misinformation? Reasons why people aren't getting vaccinated and why they are wrong. I swear to God, this is the kind of thing that's going around on the internet. And that's just, like, come on. Reasons, like, that's just not okay. Like, how can you go and say that, but the minute you mention the word COVID or anything on a post, it gets flagged, you know?
But it doesn't get flagged if you're saying the right stuff about it.
Actually, I don't know. I think it still does.
Or it still does.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know about that one. I'm not sure.
So, like, I mean, I'm all for freedom of speech, and nobody should get censored. Neither side should get censored. Olivia Rodrigo should be able to say whatever the fuck she wants to say. Yeah. Joe Rogan should be able to say whatever he needs. Dr. Malone should say whatever. They should make their own recommendations. That's all fine, because at the end of the day, it would be up to the people to decide what they want to believe and what they want to choose to live by. And that's the way it always worked, and it was successful. But now they're trying to, you know, break the wheel and say, no, this is wrong and this is right, and we're going to censor you for saying the wrong thing, right? That's when you impede on the flow of information, and then everybody just begins to believe one thing or begins to follow one narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's detrimental about social media, is that it continuously promotes this. And this is why we see so much hesitancy among the student population in Ontario, is that they are following the trends, because again, that keeps them within the community, right? And if they're going against that, they're going to be outcasted,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to be part of their friend group or whatever happens to be, even though they
Mm-hmm.
deep down don't believe in that stuff. But it's like social media should just be there to amplify that freedom of speech, right? Of course, you gotta monitor things like inappropriate things going on there, but other than that, everything should be just kept open.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there should be some sort of policies for these social media platforms to operate under, and not just have the reign to, oh, they're a private organization, they can
Yeah,
do
a
whatever the
lot of
fuck they
people
want.
say that, like, oh, they're a
But
private organization, they can censor you if they want to, that's up to them. Okay, but doesn't make it right, you know?
look, a business is a private
Exactly what you were
organization, and what,
saying.
you're gonna fucking lock them down? But social media, they're a private organization, they can do whatever they want. Universities are a private organization, they can do whatever the fuck they want. But hey, your local business can't stay open, so
Because the government's telling you to. So
you're just a hypocrite.
are they a private business, or are they not? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Do they actually have, are they actually able to do what they want, or only they can only do what they want if it aligns with what you want them to do? You know, it's
Yeah.
if you're going to have that mindset of they're a private business, they can do whatever they want, then you have to have that mindset for everything else. If a private business doesn't want to enforce vaccine mandates, then they can't do that. If a private business doesn't want to lock down, then they have the freedom to do that as well. So if you really believe in businesses having the freedom to do what they want, then you have to have, you can't just pick and choose where they can have that freedom.
Which businesses have the freedom
Yeah.
and which ones don't. That's completely against the logic that you're saying. But anyways, what are some of the other effects? Because of course, the influence part of it is huge, right?
Mhm.
Because they get to sway opinions so much.
So yeah.
But
Such a-
that's one issue about it. Another issue that I'm seeing is that people stop participating in their own community because they're so much on their cell phones.
Yeah, we talked about this in another podcast. I mentioned the term slacktivism.
Yeah.
Right? And it goes for more things than just activism, and how people think that using social media
Mhm.
to be an activist actually does anything. But that goes for anything. You don't actually engage in things in the real world as
Yeah.
much anymore. I think we were talking about this before, not on the podcast, but the amount of time that, a young person spends on social media is insane. And
Oh, yeah.
that is time that they could be spending doing things out here in the real world.
I'm gonna pull up the numbers for that. So
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's crazy the amount that social media is used. So there was this study that was done. It talked about social media use among college students, and so it says, okay, 31% of participants have full-time jobs. Let me find the part where they talk about the number of people, or the percentage of people. I think it was something like 80 or 68% that
Mhm.
use it more than 6 to 8 hours a day.
That's crazy. Some people don't even sleep that long.
Okay, here we go. So the results of the survey questionnaire indicate that 45% of the sample admitted that they spent 6 to 8 hours per day checking social media sites. 45%, so almost half. While 23% spent more than 8 hours. So more than 0.5% of the student college population spends 6 hours or more a day on social media.
That is insane. So 6 hours a day, every day.
So you're
How much
awake for
of-
what, 12 hours? Or no, not 12, 16 hours,
Yeah.
right? You're awake for 16, half your day
Yeah.
is gone to social media pretty much.
That's crazy. That's actually insane.
Half your day you're staring at your screen. Just
look,
realize that.
Don't get me wrong. I think social media is pretty amazing in some ways, especially for allowing people to have more the ability to accomplish a lot more in terms
Hmm.
of growing businesses and connecting with people. I mean, a lot of us have connected through social media. Um,
Most of us connected in person, and
well,
that's
that's true,
that's the thing. Like, I think
but we
that
use social media as a way of
we do.
staying connected, right?
Absolutely.
Um,
But social media is also a huge detriment to the communities itself, because like you're not going to connect with your neighbor, on social media and be like, "Hey, let's be friends." No. You're supposed to go out
but I
and
mean, in
connect with your
terms of
neighbor
like
in
connecting
person.
people that aren't, you know, none of us go to the same schools, and we've reached students through social media that
Hmm.
we would never be able to meet in person, and that's how we stay connected to them. So I do agree with you, but like in terms of connecting and bringing together people that aren't able to get together in person, I think it's great. But there is no reason anyone should be spending 6 hours on social media a day. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's like
And I think
there's so
a
much
lot
you could be
of
doing.
yeah, a lot of people recognize that that's something that's bad, right? And we're going to see the implications of this as the time goes on, and we already see implications, because a lot of like I mentioned, a lot of people are disconnected from their peers. They're disconnected from building use relationships. I mean, even dating has become online,
Hmm.
primarily. Like, I mean, like, how often do you get approached by a guy in public?
Oh, they would never have
They would never have the courage to
the
do that.
courage,
They
yeah.
don't need the courage to do that, because they can just do that online and not face rejection.
You know what I also think? I think that in terms of online dating, I think all those online dating platforms have perpetuated hookup culture. Um,
Hmm.
like
What do you
it's
think about hookup culture?
I think it can I don't know. I think it can be pretty toxic, and it can be damaging to a lot of people, especially young people. I knew girls in my high school, or friends of friends who had Tinder accounts at 16 years old and were like just randomly meeting up with, 21, 22, 25-year olds, and just like I think as a young teenager that can be really damaging in the long term.
Hmm.
And I think the use of social media and those online dating apps, I think that really perpetuates that, and kind of normalizes it. I mean, you see on the internet, um, just kids, young people that the things that they see that can are sometimes just so inappropriate, um, for them. Like
Like
most of the time,
TikToks.
like TikTok is so damaging. The it's either it's basically just naked people dancing, half naked people dancing,
Yeah.
and do what you want. But then when you have like an 8-year-old or 9-year-old learning how to like shake their ass on on the internet, that's got that has to be damaging to them.
That can't be something that's
That
good.
can't be, that can't be
But they
beneficial.
promote it as empowering.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, I can't say they, because that's going to be taken out of context. So they, I mean, uh, the social media
Yeah.
platforms, or the leftist movement,
Mhm.
feminist movement, they
Mhm.
promote as empowering. 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, that are going to be, showing lots of skin and be more exposed on the internet. That's
Mhm.
empowering. That's something that's great, right? And they don't see the damaging effects of that on the teenagers. Another thing in terms of social media, that I found personally, is that it's like a lot of people are there to seek attention,
100%.
right? It's all about validation. It's all about getting the likes, getting the views, and
Instant gratification as well. It's
and
all of the
instant
thing.
gratification. And that's the problem we're kind of facing with a lot of the students that are, part of CSONT, and that are just
Mhm.
regularly in university, because we offer them this. This fight takes effort. the fight that we're in terms of ending the mandates for good and ending the mandates at the universities, changing the culture of universities to be more accepting towards our views, that stuff cannot be changed overnight. And just because they were, they were programmed for so long to get that instant gratification from
Mhm.
likes or from views
Not
or
even
from
that. Like, think about
comments,
it.
that they're not going to be
TikTok.
inclined to work hard for a long period of time
Yeah.
because they think everything will just be like this, right? They think success is just an overnight type of thing and you don't really need to work hard for it. So when you give them a solution that is long term, they're not going to take it up because, well, they can always just go back to their social media and get the dopamine rush and
Mhm.
they'll
Well,
be okay.
think about it. TikTok, the videos are like 5 seconds, 10 seconds,
Yeah.
15 seconds, 30 seconds long. Like, they're very short videos. And you just keep scrolling. And it's our attention span has just become so, has become so short that, if anything is longer than like 10 seconds, we get bored and we just
Yeah.
move on to the next one. Like, that kind of is related to this. Everyone's looking for the fast solution. Everybody wants
The magic
solutions
pill.
now. um
Give me the magic pill
yeah.
to be healthy. Give me the magic pill
Mhm.
to lose weight,
Yeah,
right?
people
Nobody's
couldn't
willing
even
to do the
wait a
work.
few months to go to a Raptors game
Yeah.
because they decided to make a personal decision that they didn't want to, in order to just go to a restaurant or something.
Hmm.
And they weren't even able to wait it out. They wanted everything in that moment. They wanted that instant gratification. They couldn't, like,
Hmm.
I guess, live without it. It's just kind of crazy. um
Another thing is I wanted to point out about social media use and all of these things is I think it can be very detrimental to relationships and
yeah.
friendships, personal relationships, relationships with your friends. Like when you go out, and I like to people watch. It's fun.
Actually, so do I.
I love to people watch. Like sometimes
I thought I
when
was weird for that.
but it's fascinating because you really get to see what
Hmm.
people are like. You get to see
I
the
like
body
observing,
language.
yeah.
Yeah, kind of observe
Just because I'm
what's going on.
curious. Yeah.
And I was at the mall and I was just waiting for a friend. He just went to get something and whatever. And I'm just there on the bench sitting and waiting and get to people watch. And it's like I was sitting right across from a restaurant that had see-through windows and you
Hmm.
could see how people are hanging out. And it was fascinating because you see like there was just a group of teenagers and another group of younger adults, and they're just on their phones. Every single one was in a group of like four or three, and they
Hmm.
were just sitting on their phones doing stuff, and then they would just like say something and then back to their phones, and then say something and then back to their phones.
Yeah, actually, I was,
And they're not there, they're not present. And you see
yeah.
couples that they would be just sitting, getting a coffee together, a couple, and they're both on their phones. They're not present. They're not
Hmm.
in a relationship. They're not, you know, they have nothing there. They're literally just roommates. It's like they're just present because they have a label, but do they really love each other? Do they really care about what their day is like? Do they care
Hmm.
about this, that? Because if you're fascinated with another person, you're going to speak to them
Hmm.
and you're going to find out what's going on in your day. And like, the whole reason you're spending time together is to chat, not
Yeah.
to be on your phone.
Yeah.
And I think that's super detrimental because a lot of people spend their time like this. And I've had friends where they just get in a car or we're having dinner and they just pull out a phone and
I
start
hate
scrolling
when
through
I'm driving
Instagram.
and the person next to me is just
And it's
on
like,
their phone.
dude, are you
Like, let's
serious?
talk. This is our time to talk. I love
Yeah.
talking to people. I know, it's sad. It really is. I
It's so
see it,
addicting.
yes, and especially for the younger, like people our age as well, but even like the younger kids. Um, when I don't know about you, but in seventh grade, eighth grade, I went out for recess and I played soccer with, or tag, or like, I don't know, just hung out with
Yeah.
everyone. We weren't setting up our phones and making TikToks and like, I don't know. It's just, it's different. And I
We're
wonder what the
concerned.
long-term impacts of that is going to be. And it's we can't really escape it because this is what
Yeah.
um that's just what how it is now. I mean, there's not really much we can do about it except, try to be better personally, um and to be careful about our own usage, but it's just I really wonder, like, all these kids that are like 4 years old and have their phones already.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
10 years from now, 15 years from now, what's that going to look like?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we're concerned about what's going to happen, right, to the younger generation. We already see the impacts in our generation that are going on in
Hmm.
college and university. But I mean, I think social media could be great, and I has a
Definitely.
lot of potential to be very helpful for our
Hmm.
society, and just social media, internet. I think it's an amazing invention.
Hmm.
But the thing is, nobody is putting. I shouldn't say nobody, but the majority of people are not putting their attention towards the possible implications of the internet or social
Hmm.
media specifically, right? They're not looking at that. They might think that it's a concern, but nobody's taking it seriously as a
Hmm.
concern. Nobody's really looking at that in that direction. And before we solve any of the problems involved right now, we first have to recognize that it's a problem.
Definitely.
But the majority of society doesn't recognize it's a problem. They continuously use and use and use more, right? How many new dating apps are coming out? How many new like platforms like TikTok and Snapchat, right? They're coming out with shorter and shorter clips because our attention spans are declining,
Hmm.
right? But where does that lead? We don't know. We
Hmm.
need studies, we need research, we need people to start taking a look at those things before we get to a solution. Because I think it needs to have some sort of policy, maybe, or maybe the government needs to step in and do something about it, right? Or we as individuals have to recognize that there is a problem and we have to do something about it because, hey, this is detrimental. We did that with smoking, right?
Hmm.
I mean, we did say, okay, smoking is bad, smoking is bad, smoking is bad. People stopped smoking. Like, that just, it's shifted the culture because it's began to be so stigmatized to smoke, right? Well, similarly, social media could become the same thing. It's like, yeah, it could be a great tool. We'll use it as a tool rather than something where your life is.
Hmm.
And
To
that's
spend
where we
six
have to look
hours
at
of
it.
your day every day on that's not
That can't be healthy.
no. And I don't I've definitely been guilty of this where you're like on your phone, you're scrolling or you're doing whatever, and then
Mhm.
it's you look at the time and it's been like 3 hours. I don't know about you, but I don't feel good after that. I I'm like, oh my God, I wasted all that time and I feel like garbage. And I can't even imagine spending all that time on your phone. That's not good for your mental health. That definitely doesn't help any, depression or anxiety or social anxiety, anything that people have that definitely is not helping. I don't know if it's making it worse. I can't speak on that, but I can't see it helping, because I know that when I spend a significant amount of time on social media, on my phone, I don't feel good afterwards. I don't even feel good while I'm doing it. It's just kind of something to do. I don't know. I don't even know. It's just we really have to start being aware that this may actually be quite a big problem.
Mhm.
Maybe not right in this moment, but in the future as well. For us, for our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just to conclude this, I do want to mention my experience since I did a full kind of social media detox.
Yes.
And so this is maybe a year ago, maybe more. I started my purge with Snapchat.
Okay.
TikTok wasn't out yet when I started doing this, like getting off all of my social media. I think the longest thing I kept was Instagram, but I
Mhm.
didn't go on it much. I didn't post anything. I just kind of sometimes went on it. But my biggest takeaway is that as soon as I closed off Snapchat, I stopped worrying about things like, oh my God, I'm going to be missing out. The fear of missing out. Um,
100%. Yeah.
I Same thing happened with Instagram. So like the more things that I got off from, I started focusing more on myself. And at that point, I started to grow more confidence. I started to just become healthier mentally because I stopped worrying about other people. I don't give a fuck anymore. I just, like I meet with my friends in person, and I use the phone to set up dates, and that's about it. I don't use the phone to communicate with people or to chat with people unless it's something urgent and I need to do that. But I would rather meet up in person and discuss things the old-fashioned way, because I think that's what the world is missing. We're missing a community, an in-person community, not those fake things online. And that's what I encourage people to do. If you want to, solve your mental health issues, or maybe you've got low self-esteem, the first place to start is to get rid of your social media, because then you're going to stop comparing yourself to others.
Hmm. I kind of did the same thing. I deleted TikTok when the pandemic first started, actually. After a couple of months, I deleted it because I was taking up so much of my time, and everyone's like, "Stop thinking you're better than everyone because you deleted TikTok." I'm like, "I don't, but I do have to say I do not waste as much time on my phone, and I kind of like you, I still have, Instagram. I don't use Snapchat or Twitter, but I have them. And having like some time away from that really does help. It does. Because we're not meant to be um, on our devices all day. That's just not what we're wired to do.
Absolutely.
Um, so I think everyone needs to
Yeah.
kind of.
And I would encourage everybody to start speaking to people in person. It's not that scary. People don't bite. I don't bite usually. um, so just come on out. It's going to be summertime. Speak with people in person. Get together for lunch, coffee. That's what
And when you
I
are
would
with people, be
encourage.
present in that moment as
Be
well.
present with them.
I
Don't
know
pull out
we're
your
all
phone.
guilty of it. Sometimes you have that urge to just pick up your phone, but
Yeah.
something we all have to be aware of. Just some
Yeah.
self-awareness.
So just to conclude this, these are some of the things that we as students are also concerned about. And so if you resonate with our message, please reach out to csont.ca and we'll get in touch with you soon. Thank you.